Okay, I've been wanting to talk about this for a little while, and I got a few minutes today that I can shoot this video and do it. And I've got two mowers behind me here that I use for various occasions. The mower that you're seeing there, right where my finger is right now, is a Honda. That's a residential mower that I use on my own home. Now, I'm not a fan of that mower in the sense that it has a tendency over time to make it seem like it chews the grass rather than cut it. It has a two-blade system, and I think there's a fault in that. That's my opinion, and so that's why I really don't like the mower, but it's what I have, and until I find a small walk behind that I like, I'm going to stick with it. I've had it for several years. I've been looking, and I might find one this fall. The other mower, where my finger is pointing now, is a Toro Turf Master. All in, that mower, this let's see, I bought it in the spring. It was around $2,800 after taxes, etc. I got the most powerful motor option on it, and I rarely ever use it. I like having it though in commercial applications where I have a small area that I need to get through, and something needs to be mowed or bagged, or someone calls for a one-time service and their lawn's really far behind. The issue between these two mowers, and it's an issue that I have with mowers in general, and here's what it is. If you look at the wheels and the deck on these mowers, they're lined up straight. The cutting width of the deck does not exceed the path of the tires. I'll bring this up a little closer. You see right where my hand is here, okay, and the mower deck, it's the same. Okay, what does that mean? That means when I'm cutting grass, it's very hard and at times nearly impossible to get when I make my initial pass or any pass on the lawn cutting the grass, and I come back for that next pass deeper into the lawn, it's almost impossible to get it completely where I'm not running the tire again on that same area that I already ran the mower in the previous pass. And this adds to unnecessary additional soil compaction. And if there's a certain amount of moisture in the lawn, for example, in the springtime during the rain season, even when the grass has dried out, but I've got to cut it because it's in the growing season, then it tends to want to rut. And so that's why it's especially important to change directions. But there are certain places that you're going to have to go over no matter what. For example, the perimeter of the property. And that leads me to the next issue that I have, okay? The next issue that I have is, if you look at that Toro Time Master right there, I can adjust the wheel height for the front two wheels. It's linked together. There's a lever that you pull for it. And I can adjust the height for the back two wheels. But I cannot make a change for the pitch or the angle from the left to the right, okay? Whereas on the Honda that I have here, each individual tire allows me to set a height difference. And that's important, especially on lawns like mine that have edging. So going back to the issue earlier that I mentioned about the mowing width, I don't like to take my mower and run it along the side where the wheels would still be in the turf because it smashes the edging. And in my lawn specifically, the edges are typically crisp when I run the edging machine. And so that's why I feel that the ability to have an adjustment or to be able to make adjustments from left to right in the pitch and the angle of the cut is beneficial. So typically what I have to do to not smash down the edging with most mowers, because the cutting width is not wider than the actual tire width, is I have to come off at a certain angle like this, okay? And so again, with that angle like that, it puts it to where the lower portion of the grass is cut typically shorter than the rest of the grass, and it can lead, there's that magic height for my lawn that's really at 3.5 inches. Where I like it is perfect. If I cut it at 3 inches, it'll look scalloped. But because of the change here, what happens is the very end ends up being about 3 inches. So it's less than ideal. Again, with the Honda mower here, I have the ability to fluctuate the sides, but with the Toro, which was a $2,800 lawnmower, you can't do that. The manufacturers need to get better about noticing these types of things, and I think that if they did, the industry across the board would be much better. And until then, we've got these types of mowers. Every once in a while, I'll see a mower that doesn't, where a commercial mower that allows me to adjust the change the way I want to, but it's not that often. And every once in a while, I'll find a commercial mower that has the cutting deck wider than it does the wheel pass. And in cases where you're wanting to stripe or whatnot, that is just absolutely outstanding. I had a Red Hawk mower when I first got started. It was a walk behind. I think I got it for $2,000 brand new. They sent it to me. I assembled it, and the cutting width was just outside of the wheels, and I was able, in many cases, I had one property that I literally mowed the same doggone direction every week when I cut the grass, and people would stop and take pictures of it. It looked so good, and it had zero rutting in the lawn. Those were the good days. It was a cheap mower and nobody wanted to work on it, but you know, like most commercial walk behinds, it was very simple, belt driven mower. You just turn some wrenches on it, get it set up, and get it good to go. Anyway, those are some pet peeves of mine on these mowers.